Always Irish Show. Always Irish Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Ooh, that's right. Oh, it feels good to be back on the morning routine, you guys. Oh, I missed this show so bad. Oh, I was in such a good mood this morning just to log in and do this show. Like, just to get back on this morning track. And we have actual football and a lot going on and a lot to discuss. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Brandon Fry, good to see you. Hope you're holding it down in ATL for us due to A-Town Stop. Brandon, Brandon he moved from South Bend down to the Atlanta area. And I gave him my first Always Irish flag to bring with. And I wanted him to represent. I love the guy. I wanted him to represent us down there when he moved. And I happily gave him my first Always Irish flag. Happy to get a replacement to fly at the tailgates. I'm glad he has it. Makes me happy every time I think about it. Here's the thing, man. Callers will get to you. It is I mean it sincerely. I missed this show so bad. And the last week, I had no morning shows, schedule all messed up. You already know that by now. I feel disconnected when I'm not with my morning people. I feel like out of touch. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's almost like it's Mother's Day and you haven't checked in yet with your mom. Like, you just feel like you're doing something wrong. And I'm really, really glad to be back here. I genuinely took for granted how much I love the connective Notre Dame tissue of this show every other day in the mornings to just touch base with you guys on where all this stuff's at. God, it's a beautiful thing. And you don't know till you don't have it for a while. And I'm like, man, I miss these people. I miss Commander Luke telling me that I'm bad at this, but never missing a show. Like, how do I get by without this? Mark with glasses, we have a video request. You did one of me dancing the other day. If Michigan gets nailed, like properly nailed, not a little slap on the wrist. If they get properly nailed, we need a hammer time with John dancing on their grave. Only if they get properly nailed. Properly nailed to me doesn't mean you're not going to a bowl game one year and you get to keep your trophy. That ain't properly nailed. Properly nailed is you cheated and won partially because you did all this time. Guess what that means? All those games you won in that period are now losses, and that means the championship too. Nobody won a championship last year. That's properly nailed. Properly nailed is not, oh, slap on the wrist, you lose a few scholarships and you're not going to a bowl this year. That is not properly nailed. That's getting away with homicide. Can I be crystal clear about that? If they get a slap on the wrist, reduce scholarships, and they can't go to the playoff the next 2 years, that is not being properly nailed. You would trade a championship for that. That's getting away with it. That is not being properly nailed. Oh, Mark. Unbelievable. I can't put it up, but Mark had a very, very funny comment. Oh, look at the callers. I got a couple things I need to go over first, then we'll get into the calls. Man, you guys are funny, though. You guys are funny. $5 holler from Adam Dowling. This Michigan stuff's so dirty. Turns out everything reported in October was 100% accurate. Everybody with eyeballs and using common sense knew that. The only people who didn't were everybody involved with Michigan's program, all of Michigan's local media, and then you know what else? I've been talking to Adam about this offline too. I've been talking to him about this too. For whatever reason, Michigan seems to be one of those like protected programs with the national media, and they're carrying their water a lot too. And I don't know what it is about that, the whole Michigan thing. There's a lot of national media that seems to carry their water and protect them, and I just don't understand it. Oh, look at this. Good morning to John. Right when I said it's great to be back on the morning show, crying belly. John loves Freeman more than the program. It's strange, and the call-in show has turned into Always Irish groupies ranting for 30 minutes about how great Freeman is. Then I have an idea for you. Leave the show and don't ever come back. There, I just solved your problem. If you don't like me, you don't like my approach, you don't like my program, and you think that's what I do, leave and never come back. I do not care. I do not. Cue the Tomlin, the Steelers guy, that quote I use on Twitter, that little thing. He goes, the media asked him a question and he goes, "We do not care," with a straight face. Like, if that's what you think of me and my program, you can leave. No one's holding you hostage here. If that's what you think I do and that's what you made in your mind that this is, you can leave and not come back. Go for it. I don't care. Go watch another show and go do that. I don't know. Sit somewhere and watch film for 4 hours in a row and have somebody monotone tell you what a guy's doing on a recruit's film. I don't care. Find entertainment however you got to do it. Knock yourself out, buddy. It's a free world. Is somebody holding you hostage to your chair, making you log into Always Irish in the morning? It's the only show I can watch. I'm handcuffed to my seat. It's a free country. At least it is for now, so far. Go somewhere else. I don't care. If that's what you think I do. Again, the last thing we did when all this Deuce stuff came and we're talking about A&M is, I said, depending on how some of this stuff goes, we are going to have to have some really, really uncomfortable, tough, truthful discussions coming very, very soon about this program and where it's all at. I don't know how I could be any more fair than that. It's trendy to be against Freeman from the beginning, rooting against him, betting against him, because it takes no balls to root against a Notre Dame coach when you haven't won anything in 30 years and nobody wins any big games at Notre Dame. I mean, the biggest games on the schedule, the last 30 years we have not won. It's not ballsy to pick against that. That's where the easy money is picking against Notre Dame succeeding. You're not going against the grain. That has been the history of the last 30 years. You're not a ballsy genius sitting there with your hands in your sweatpants in a recliner typing in, "I'm going to get John on this one." You ain't ballsy. You ain't creative. You're not a trend breaker here. The easy money was to pick against Freeman and anybody else. So you're not a genius for going that route. So settle down a little bit, okay? Here's the thing. I don't know what else I could tell you guys. You knew I liked Freeman's energy. I'm open about that. The idea was, doesn't have the game experience, going to recruit really well. And while he's learning the on-field stuff, you stack this program with talent we have not had. That was the concept. The issue is, it ain't going that way that easy. Buddy, that's the issue. You hear that, everybody out there saying I never question Freeman? Are you listening? Or do you tune out for that part just so you can type in the narrative you want? You don't get to just pick and choose what I say. Listen to all of it or don't listen to any of it. You don't get to pick and choose and then try and nail me in a corner. Hear me. That was the concept with Freeman. Okay? Recruiter that's going to stack the program with talent while he's getting the other stuff going. The problem is it hasn't gone that smooth. It hasn't gone that smooth. And the recruiting's not good enough. Period. The recruiting's not good enough. If you lose Deuce, I'm not writing that in stone yet. If you lose Deuce, whatever happens with the 25 class, not good enough. You have a problem. Then Freeman's boxed into a corner in the recruiting. You better go beat A&M. there's going to be some really, really tough discussions had if this all goes sideways on us, okay? I think that is the fairest position I could have, and people are just, they want the narrative they want in their head to type mean things in. I don't understand. I really don't. I don't get it. But if you really don't like my show that much, bye. See ya. There's plenty of other shows in this niche. There's 20 different Notre Dame podcasts. I don't need you. Go. I don't want you to sit here and be miserable all day because John's lying to you about the Freeman factor or whatever. I wanted it to be. It looked good for a while. Now it's on shaky terms. I don't know what else to tell you, man. But I've been thinking about this that's for all weekend. You are not the creative Notre Dame genius in your sweatpants for picking against Freeman from day one. You are not the innovator. You're not bucking the trend. It's not novel to pick against Notre Dame getting to elite status when they haven't been there in over 30 years. You are the easy money. You are the easy money. Get that through your head before you think you're a genius coming at me every day. Okay? Like I said, I can't wait to be back on the morning show. I love it. It's really relaxing. My blood pressure appreciates it. 11 minutes in. I got a great energy today because I'm just happy to be back with you people, even the ones that drive me nuts. I'm happy to be with you for some stupid reason. Serenity now, John. I need an NIL deal with Serenity now or one of these yoga companies or something. Dr. John, it's good to see you, buddy. What's that stuff called? I feel like I'm a pregnant mom where they sit on the floor and do, what's it called? Lasagna, Lamaze, that's it. Not lasagna, but you sit there and you just like do breathing exercises. Maybe I need to do that. Rodney with the $2 hour, 25 days to go. The time is now. Rodney, you're on the line. I got a bunch of callers. I'll get to you. You got to give me a break. I haven't done the morning show in forever. I got to get a couple things out. Then I promise I'll give the rest of the time to the callers. Super chats got to come first. You understand that. It pays for the phone lines. Oh, I like Rodney. He's got the Halloween logo up early. I like that. I like that a lot. Anders says, where's Chad? Why aren't you hosting more QBs with Deuces flirting with other schools? Here, Andrew, here's something I don't understand. I was driving yesterday. I had a lot of driving to do. And I decided to listen to a couple other shows because I wanted to hear if they would address the Deuce thing or what their approach was going to be. And I wanted to know what it was going to be. And sorry, I can't write and think at the same time. I wanted to know what they're going to say. And they're going, one of the shows got a question in their mailbag or whatever. And it was like, if you're Notre Dame, how would you handle the Deuce thing that you don't know if he's really committed to Notre Dame or what he's going to do or whatever? How would you handle that? And the response was, well, you got to let Deuce know that if you're looking, we're looking too. Bro, you have no leverage if you're Notre Dame. Are you out of your mind? You have no leverage in this if you're Notre Dame at all. I couldn't understand the theory. They're literally like, what would you do if you're Notre Dame and you find out Deuce is taking these other visits and he's not all fully committed, whatever? What's Notre Dame's next move? They're like, you need to let him know. If you're looking, we're looking. Bro, Notre Dame has no leverage in this. It's so laughable. Everybody, including Deuce and his camp, knows Notre Dame went all in on him. Notre Dame's operating from a place of no leverage whatsoever. Oh, you're looking at other quarterbacks. Whoop-de-doo. Notre Dame has no leverage in that. Oh, we're looking at other guys. What are you going to find? Another one interested in Notre Dame with the athletic skill set that's higher rated than Deuce that wants to come to Notre Dame and has the grades to get into Notre Dame? That's what you're telling me you're going to tell him we're doing? Okay, good luck with that. You have no damn leverage, bro. No leverage. You have less leverage than I do in a weightlifting contest. Are you outside your mind? Get a grip of reality here. All of these other media outlets are really pissing me off. They're having a hard time accepting reality here. It was all for months. Deuce is a program changer. You get Deuce, he's the type of athlete we never get. You get Deuce and everything's loose. And the program's going to change. Everything's been about Deuce changing the program. The minute it comes out, he's probably not coming here. Now everybody's watering their takedown like it ain't a big deal. It's pissing me off. Then I come in here, make it a big deal, and I get accused and I'm carrying water for Freeman. It makes no sense. Sometimes this media niche makes no damn sense. And it's starting to piss me off. All of those people have literally been saying he's a program changer. And then now it's like, well, if he doesn't want to come here, whatever. And they're watering down what it means. You're not being intellectually honest. You cannot say this would change the program, blah, 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 and lean on that for 6 months. And now that it looks like it's trending against you, act like it's no big deal. Grow a spine in this stupid media niche. I'm sick of people watering it down when it's convenient and not addressing some hard truths. When things hurt you in football, you lean into them. You don't water them down. The only way out of this is to lean into your problems, not water them down and shy away from them and act like they're not a big deal. If he was that big of a program changer when he was for you, you got to admit what it means if you don't get him. And you got to face that crap head on, not shy away from it. I have no respect for media doing this. And there's way too much of it going on in our niche right now. Remember when I said I was happy to be back? I still am. All right, calls, I'm coming to you. Untrue, John's changing his tune on Freeman. He let me rant about Freeman all the time. I follow the facts. What I wanted Freeman to be is on shaky ground right now. The recruiting is nowhere near where I was envisioning it being for this all to be trending in the direction I wanted. It's nowhere near it. It ain't. If you keep Deuce and figure out some other stuff, we're cooking. But if this goes the way it's trending, it's nowhere close. Freeman is not doing what I need him to do if you end up with the 15 best class in 25. Are you psychotic? That is nowhere near good enough for by about 10 spots. 10 spots. Okay? Nowhere near it. Cryan suggested a debate. Not interested. Both ways. Okay? Not interested. Both ways. Respectfully. Not interested. Both ways. And I can guarantee that as a fact. Whatever. Oh, boy. $10 olive from the Ohio pod. God, I missed this show. John, you're a national treasure. I can't even hate ND because of you, brother. I'm just Ohio pod. I'm glad to see your show grow. I know everybody in here hates Ohio State, and I do too. But I think you are, you're a really, really good guy. And you're doing so. You got some charity stuff going on now and on your show and everything. That's what it's all about. My charity stuff, I went with the dog route because I like dogs a lot more than I like people. So I wanted to help. I wanted to help him. Oh, God, crying. Your podcast is like no other echo chamber loving on free pass. You, in fact, are the one not going against the grain. Crying, I really hope you feel good about yourself. You're a tough guy. You are. You're a tough typer. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make John really mad. And I'm in my boxers at home, and I'm going to type mean things in the little chat box and see if I can get him all worked up. The funny thing is, here's the funny thing. Unlike a lot of people that do what I do in this niche, I will actually let you criticize me. Not only will I allow it, I'll actually pull it up on the air and give it credence. I won't just let it happen in the chat and scroll by it because it hurts me and I'm embarrassed. I will literally pull it up, highlight what you say, and address it to your face while you're typing in your mom's basement. Unlike all the other people in the niche that'll just block you. It's fun. I'm the echo chamber. But all the other shows, if you go against anything they say, they block you instantly. But I'm the echo chamber. Crying, you have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think you get around in this niche enough to understand the dynamic you're working in. It's the exact opposite, you fool. Go try and tell the other hosts that they're idiots or whatever and see how long you last in their YouTube channel. Do it. Try it and see how long you last. Call them out to their face about their takes. See how long it takes before you get blocked forever. Not only do I allow the criticism, I'll even highlight it to give you your little time. Give you your little rise, your time to shine on a Monday morning. The highlight of your stupid week coming at me, I'll highlight it. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Okay? So when you talk about an echo chamber like none other, you have no idea what you're talking about. If you go in these other shows and criticize them, you're blocked forever. You can't have a different opinion than a lot of these people. They can't handle it. I embrace that. That's the difference. So let that sink in your mind on a Monday morning here. Oh, this is going to be a good year. We're off to the races now, aren't we, folks? Wow. $2 holler. John, be humbling the ND fan collective. I'm sorry, man. I'm just calling it like calls it like I see it. Calls it like I sees it. Whatever. Everybody does their own thing. The best show doesn't start till what? Go away, crying. You're begging me to ban you, and I'm not going to do it just because it's going to make you mad. If I ban you, it validates you. If you really think that, that is your opinion, and you should tune in at 1 o'clock. You really should. I think you should do that. And it's going to be, I hope it's really, really fulfilling for you. I genuinely do. I hope you learn a lot. I hope you learn a lot, man. I really do. Oh, John likes what other ideas come in. A few weeks ago, a guy called in and criticized Denbrock. Didn't even cut him off. I'm telling you, if I got all these worries about Notre Dame, Denbrock's low on the list. Denbrock's really low on the list. It's funny. $5 holler from Ryan Elliott. Thank you. You do a lot of those $5 hollers, and I really appreciate it. I hope Gino was talking to Deuce all weekend. Not only that, but you better be talking to some other quarterbacks and try and figure it out. Because I don't know what you got cooking. $16 holler from Dr. John. Deuce, $1 for every win in 24. Ooh, that's a lot of math, Doc. That's a lot of math. Do it. 12 plus 4 is 16. I really like that. Even I can do that math. I'm bad at math. Yeah, I'm bad at math. What the hell do you want them to say, says Crying? I don't know. Some truth? Some truth? You don't get to say he would be an absolute program changer, the type of guy we never get in Notre Dame. He would change everything. Then when it's rumored he's going elsewhere, go, oh, it's not that big a deal. We'll find somebody else. And if he really doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be here. We're not going to talk about it today. Just move on. You don't get to do that. That's intellectually dishonest. If you're going to build him, here's what I've always said. However much you're gonna pump things up on a positive end, if they go against you, if you're being intellectually honest, you need to hammer them equally on a negative end. So if you pump Deuce up as this program changer, end all be all, you have never had a talent like this at Notre Dame, and then it goes bad, you have an intellectual obligation to be that miserable and highlight what a failure that is at an equal amount of attention and time given and intensity that everybody pumped him up all this time. That's what I want them to say, Crying. You're the one saying I'm carrying water. I'm calling them out for not carrying water, and you're calling me out. It makes no logical sense. Go to that 1 o'clock show and have fun. Enjoy. I'm sure there's replays of last week's shows from 1 o'clock. Go watch those to fill your morning. I don't care. You think I care what you do? I do not. We do not care. Cue the Tomlin. I'm done dealing with some of this crap. Oh, boy. I know, callers. Forgive me, man. I'm getting caught up. I'm getting these super chats. Give me a break. Eric, $5 holler, all the way from Toledo, Ohio. We're only 26 days away, y'all. Go Irish. Oh, baby, the calendar's changing fast. Oh, the calendar's changing fast. It's unbelievable. Irish football pod. Spot on, John. You can't act like it's not a big deal when for months Deuce has been the program changer. The recruiting's not up to par for what we expected for Freeman. Simple as that. That is 100% right. That is 100% my position. It's intellectually dishonest and emotionally weak. And I see it from a lot of this media already. They get annoyed when you ask and they get a question from the audience about their readers or listeners. What do you think about Deuce? Oh, what about this or that? They don't like it. And they're like, oh, we're into camp. Let's not talk about it. It's intellectually weak. They can't handle it. You're not allowed to pump them up as the ultimate end-all be-all on the high end. And when it's starting to trend against you, shy away from the topic. That is weak, man. It's weak. And I see it from a lot of the media. And I do not respect it. I don't. Now, I'm still going to say it's not over. It's not over. Technically, even if he decommits from Notre Dame tomorrow as rumored or whatever and goes to Auburn or whatever, it's still technically not over. December? Is it December signing day? It's not over. Even if that happens, you have time. Weird things happen. It's not likely. It's not likely. Ronald McDonald says you ban everyone. The only people I ban are if it gets into politics and if it gets into like racial stuff. Those are the only people I've ever banned. It has nothing to do with like if you criticize or if you come at me like personally, or people come at Pat very personally, I'll ban you for that. Not like I don't like your Notre Dame take, but personal stuff off the football. I gotta ban you for that if you're taking shots at like me or Pat personally, not for football reasons. Politics, because all you're trying to do is piss off half the people in here. No matter what you say, you just want to mess everything up for everyone. And then obviously when you start getting racial, because you're just being an idiot. Those are the only things. The football stuff, I let it fly here. Even when it's against me, I let it fly. John literally ended the show Saturday discussing the recruiting failures. Listen. If you lose Deuce, the recruiting operation's nowhere near good enough, nowhere near where I envisioned it being under Freeman, nowhere near changing the program, getting to the next, nowhere near it. And we need to all quit handing out our bouquets to Chad and all these guys are elite recruiters and we're promoting everybody and all that. Something you're doing is not working. It's not good enough. Quit doing remakes of comedy movies and figure out why you can't land elite guys. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. Okay? That's the reality. And it hurts me to say. It hurts me to say. But if this goes the way it's going to go, it's nowhere near where I need it to be. And I want it. That's just tough. It's just tough. And it hurts me, but it's just a fact. Why can't Notre Dame people lean into the pain? When you're frustrated or when things aren't going your way, you don't shy away from it. As a program, that's where you lean into it. That's where you lean into it because you got to address your shortcomings. You got to lean into them to be able to address them. You don't shy away from them, man. It's really, really, really bothering me seeing people do that in this niche. $5 holler from Omer TD. Welcome back, John. I appreciate you easing back into the routine. Yeah, you know me. I'm just taking it easy over here on a Monday. Boy. All right. Here we go. We're getting to the bottom of the chats. I'm getting caught up. Give me a second. We got a storm out front. See if we lose the phone lines. Who knows? Jeezy Pete. Will he be hard again? That's a personal problem. I can't answer that. The Freeman falter. Listen. There is plenty of chances for this all to come together and be just fine. I am not going to do the sky is falling, everything's ruined, like Freeman's got to go. We're not anywhere, we're not there at all. You need to beat Texas A&M. And we're going to have to get into a little bit of that discussion me and Pat had because there's some fallout from that. I need to discuss. you need to beat Texas A&M. That is the number one thing that could stabilize all of the emotions and everything of where we're at right now, and the instability with the recruiting class right now. The only real way to stabilize this and put some foundation under it is to beat A&M. The intensity of this moment and how big that is the reason I'm not as concerned with by how many points it's by. We're in a very unique spot in time where that recruiting thing is really shaky and everybody's uncertain. There are wants and there are needs. I want Frank Leahy domination of everybody all the time. I need a win no matter what. Fly back with a smile on your face. You have the inside track those to playoff game Christmas week in South Bend. You got me? Like, I have wants and I have needs. I want Leahy domination. What I need is you to secure that win. And we are not in a position to be that picky right now. You absolutely just need this win. I saw somebody on another show asking, they wrote in a question and they asked, is this game opener, season opener against A&M? I promise, callers, I'm coming to you. I know, I just get going and I have so many of my own things I need to do. It's getting hard. Hang with me if you can. I love you guys. $2. I used to like Freeman. Still do, but I used to too. Mitch Hedberg. Anybody who knows who Mitch is, go look him up. It's a classic joke. Mark, you can always count on you. You're perfect. Angela says 99% I'm going to make the tailgate this year. I hope so, Angela. It would be great. It's going to be the biggest one yet. And again, open house Friday at Johnson South Bend. Renting a house, party pad. Everybody come on by, man. Come on by. We're having pizza and beer that night, Friday. Come for an hour, stay for 3. I don't care. Come and go. Dr. John, you and your crew. You're in your crew. If you're going to be in town, I expect you guys to come by the house Friday night. We'll feed you some pizza. I'll even let you bring some wine, I guess. I'll allow wine in the house. You could do that. You could, Dr. John, don't worry about the callers today. I'm calling on Wednesday. As long as he gets his in, he's fine. Oh, man. Obviously, John, but you're losing in recruiting to programs that don't have much more to offer. So it's clear people have doubts that this team can concede. Yeah, it's not a good situation, man. It's not a good situation. I don't know what else people want me to do. I'm telling you, I have anxiety about it. I'm telling you, I'm frustrated. I'm telling you, I'm disappointed. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's okay. All right, let me get through a couple of my notes, and I promise the rest of the time's going to go to the callers. I did get some complaints. After the night show. Pat, and you're driving or something. Is that what you mean? I was a little kid. I think that's what you mean. A little complaint about me and Pat going on too long with our debate, and people were waiting on the phone lines. I'm sorry. There's no perfect way to do it, man. And we got into that. Did it go too long? Probably, but it's a live show with two hosts going back and forth. Sometimes that happens. And if I really want to be nitpicky about it, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I thought about this yesterday when I read a couple of the complaints, and I mean this. You may take this the wrong way. I'm just telling you. The people that donated a lot of money got their calls in early. I'm sorry. The people that did pony up, the dude from Indy ponied $50 and I made sure he got on the air. I do try and prioritize things a certain way. So I'm sorry about it. Trying to do the best I can here to serve all masters. So it's just kind of I tried to get in the people that I knew donated money in that moment in that night. And then I'm sorry, me and Pat got into it. And I like a hot debate. Okay, this isn't a radio show that has programming, and every 12 minutes you got to go to a commercial, and there's a producer in your ear saying, do this, do that, and a guy vetting all the phone calls and knowing exactly what everybody's saying. This ain't that. It's a one-man show and sometimes a two-man show. Give me a break. Give me a break. All right. My only 2 points. Number one is Michigan finally going to get nailed? Is this the time? I already yelled about what getting nailed means. Keeping the title, anything short of that is not getting nailed. You would pretty much give up anything to be able to retain a title. Okay? Are you following me? Like if they get a bowl ban for a couple years, you're not able to go to the new playoff, this and that, whatever. That is not them getting what they deserve. Anything short of all your wins are gone that we know you cheated, and if they don't revoke it, this is not a punishment. You would give up just about anything to be able to have a championship. So I don't care. Reduce scholarships. Suspend Sharon Moore for half the year. You're not able to go to the new playoff for 2 years. Those are not adequate to me at all. Anything that ends with them keeping that championship doesn't do it for me. Here's what's come out from the report. Stalions was the guy on the sideline spying on Michigan State. Was at Central Michigan, one of the Michigan smaller schools. It was him on the sideline. And I also am waiting to see the discipline from their end. Not just Michigan's end, but Central Michigan, whoever. I'm waiting for the discipline on them that they allowed that to happen to work on Michigan's behalf. I'm still waiting for that to come out. 58 games illegally scouted, 7 hard drives removed, 8 coaches involved, including the new one, Sharon Moore. Check this out, you guys. Before Connor Stalions arrived at Michigan, Harbaugh's record there was 49-26. After Connor Stalions was at Michigan, 40-3. 40-3. He was listen, I'm just telling you guys, 49-26 before Connor Stalions arrived there, 40-3 after. And then you line it up with all the evidence. I'm telling you, that's really, really rough. Then Moore deleted 52 texts back and forth with Stalions the day the initial report of the allegations of cheating came out. 52 texts. And I'm sure that just happened. They were just talking about the weather, right? Right? So that happened. Crying belly. Wow, that's great. Can we just talk about how Freeman doesn't have any double-digit regular season wins? Bro, you're really pushing it today. I hope you have a great week. I really do. And I hope that you get an endorphin release every time you hit enter on a troll tweet. I hope it fulfills your little heart. I really do. I hope it, whatever is lacking in your life that you try and fill in by coming at me here, I hope it works. I genuinely mean that. I hope it fulfills you and it provides you whatever you're missing in your life. I hope you get it from trolling me and trying to make me feel stupid or dumb for how I run my show. That's what I want for you. That's what I want. I hope it fulfills whatever it is you're seeking, my friend. I love you, and may God have mercy on you and me for dealing with it. 52 texts with Stalions that he deleted. The coaches were in on it. The AD was in on it. President Santa Claus Ono was in on it. Here's the worst part. And I don't see people speaking about this enough. And then I'm going to go to the calls for the 80th time, 40 minutes in. Here, you got to forgive me, man. First morning show in over a week. I got a lot to get caught up on, bro. Give me a break. Give a brother a break. Here is the worst part of all this. And no one, be safe on the jet ski, crying. We got to recruit. All right. Here's the thing. This is the worst part. And no one mentions it. Ward Manuel, Michigan's AD, presiding over all of this cheating, carrying the weight, covering for them, got promoted in the middle of all this drama last year, in the middle of it, not before it. Not before it. In the middle of all this drama, if they did what they did, got promoted to be the college football expanded chair. It's unbelievably insulting. It's absolutely unbelievably insulting. In the middle of all of this, when it broke, and every day it was a media dump of what they did, and everybody saying what should be the punishment, all of this drama was going on. In the middle of all that, the AD presiding over all that got promoted to be the expanded playoff chairperson. Is there no morality left in the world? Is there no sense of right? Did I finish the introduction? No, I didn't do any of my introduction. Go to Sports Illustrated, Google it. Go to Sports Illustrated and Google it. Read all about it. We got articles out the wazoo. It's off to a good start. Thanks to everybody that's been over there. It's incredibly insulting to me that in the middle of all this, when you knew they were in trouble for all this stuff, that's the guy that gets promoted to preside over the new playoff. And then I'm supposed to what? Have confidence that that process is run fairly and legitimately and not have doubts about it? It's absolutely intelligence and my moral barometer. It's seriously, I'm not trying to clutch my pearls, but I don't have pearls. I got a pimp chain. It's absolutely insulting to our intelligence that in the middle of that school being investigated for all this, they promote the AD overseeing it that wasn't trying to get to the bottom of it and do the right thing. He was trying to cover for the program and defend it. And you put that guy in charge of the new committee that decides everybody's fate and the seating and who's in and out in the new playoff and all the money that comes with being in it or not and all that. It's absolutely insulting to everybody's intelligence. Bro, I don't get it. It's just, is there no like sense of right for wrong at all? No one in that room said, wait a second, Michigan's it looks like they're doing all this bad stuff. What kind of a look is it for us to promote that guy, to put him in charge of everything? That's it. None of these big cigar smokers sitting there when they're talking about expanding this playoff, none of them said, are we sure this is the guy we want to represent this new thing when they're being investigated for all this? Isn't that a bad image we're putting out to the country that we're ramping this new playoff up and the guy presiding over it is overseeing this drama and all this smoke, and it just looks like an icky situation? None of those big shots. It never occurred to any of them to ask that question. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me, but that's the world we live in, man. Immorality pays, and I think cheating's going to pay too. Whatever they're going to nail Michigan with, it ain't going to take that title away. And then it's going to anything. Listen, isn't anything worth keeping the title? Giving up a bunch of recruits, giving up a bowl game the next 2 years or whatever, isn't that all worth it if you get to keep your championship? People would give up just about anything to retain a championship. 2 years of not being in the new playoff or whatever is worth it if you get a championship. So anything short of that is a slap on the wrist to me. I don't care. Final thing, Pat, this has to do with you and I. And you didn't see this. You're not on Twitter, Pat. This has to do with your and I's debate. And then we'll move on to the callers. It only took 45 minutes, and everybody hates me. Pat, this involves you. Having a little Twitter beef with Darren Pritchett there from South Bend Radio, WSBT. I posted the video segment of me and Pat. Pat, hear me out. I posted the video link of me and Pat's debate on Twitter yesterday to gain some people to go over and watch the video on YouTube of us debating. I cut that part out of the night show, put it as a standalone. Darren Pritchett from South Bend Radio, WSBT, the sports guy over there, he mocked me and Pat's debate. I asked the question, is just winning the game enough, or do you expect more than that as a Notre Dame fan? He sarcastically mocked that question in the replies to me posting the link to the video. And then the next thing he did is 12 hours later, turned it around and used that concept as a question to generate traffic and discussion on his own show. It's unbelievable, man. It's just hilarious to me. He made fun of it when I used it as content. 12 hours later, he turned it around and he's asking a question, what the result of the game's going to be. And he's using it as content on his own program now, 12 hours after he said it was ridiculous for me to bring up that topic and ask about it at all. I'm telling you, that's a great, doing that and mocking me for going down that lane. And then 12 hours later, he's using it for content on his own radio show. That is a great way to ensure you never graduate to a bigger radio market than South Bend, Darren. That's a great way to ensure you don't graduate to a bigger market and you stay in South Bend. If you want to debate this or you want to have me on the air to talk about all this, and you want to have a discussion about why we're having that talk and how nobody being quite sure how good A&M's going to be is a big part that has people wondering what should be the expectation about Notre Dame in this ball game. If you want to have me on the air, we'll generate some ratings for you on the local radio show. We'll do it. But it's real rich to make fun of me for using that as content. 12 hours later, he flips it and he uses it for content on his little radio show in sleepy South Bend. Interesting. Telling you, I'm getting sick of a lot of people in this media niche that say one thing, do something else. There's a lot of people bugging me in this media space right now, and I'm getting sick of being the nice guy and letting it all go. So if we're doing this, let's do it for real. Let's go. Have me on the air on your radio show, and we'll go over why we had that debate. And a part of it is we're just not sure what you're going to get from A&M and how that changes what you expect in Notre Dame. But I found that quite hilarious to wake up and see that he made fun of that debate yesterday. And today he used a form of it to generate his own content on the radio show. It's super rich to me. Unbelievable. All right. That's what I needed to get out. Now we'll go to the callers. You can have the rest of the show. Rodney, what's going on? Thank you for your patience.
I love all that. After all that. Hey, Rodney, what's going on?
It's actually,
how you doing, man?
It's honestly relaxing to put you on the air and let somebody else say some things after what I just did the last 47 minutes. But Rodney, I felt like there was a lot that needed to be covered there in the first 47 minutes. So I went for it and I let it rip. I'm getting sick of people. I'm getting sick of people in this media niche, getting a little too comfortable and a little too familiar. And there's a lot of people that like it the way it was and like the little spots they add in the legacy media and the traditional mediums. And I don't think they like anybody else budging in on any of their content views. And I got news for them. Everything's changing. Welcome to the real world now. Go ahead, Rodney.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, I didn't see. I started watching you and Pat's debate on that, and then I don't know what happened. I got sidetracked or something. I want to finish it up. I want to watch that today. But I'm sure it was fascinating. I just got to go back and watch it. And I, over the years, I've liked Darren Pritchett. He's Pritchard. He's somebody I kind of respected in that space. But it just goes to, and again, I haven't seen. I don't know what he responded to. I don't know what his topic was the next day.
I asked. The tweet was, I asked, is it enough for Notre Dame to just beat A&M, or do they need to make a statement? And then I linked the debate with me and Pat. And then under it, he wrote, "My brain hurts just from reading this question." All right. Well, if your brain hurt that bad, why are you spinning my content into yours the next day? That's my question. Now my brain hurts.
And so what? The next day he said that exact same thing.
He puts out a Twitter poll question asking what's going to be the result of the A&M game. Notre Dame barely wins. Notre Dame wins by a lot and all this. He literally spun my idea. He made fun of into his own content 12 hours later. It's hilarious to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, and this is kind of just my general thoughts on all this. Has nothing to do with Darren specifically, but it just got me thinking, John. If you're going to call the age we're living in anything, or if it's going to, every 5 to 10 years, oh, that was the age of this, or they talk about generations. Generations go on for whatever 15 to 18 years. Oh, that's Generation X. Is this going to be the time of failing upwards? And I mean that with all due respect. I don't. It has nothing to do with your promotion to SI or anything like that. Like your present company aside. But I just mean, I'm just thinking about all the people that are making money or getting promoted or whatever. And I'm trying to be very general about this. I don't want to get specific. Okay. But it's it's no longer about how good you are or the merit, right? It's about how much money and how many eyes can you get for other people behind the scenes. In other words, who's making the donors the most money? You know what I mean? Whatever that may be. And it's just this seems to be the age of failing upwards. Some of the worst people are in positions of power and leadership. And I'm being very general about this, but it's true. It's and yeah, some of those gatekeepers of the past it just goes to show corruption and jealousy and, some of these negative characteristics. It hasn't changed. Humanity's been the same it's ever been. I mean, in every you go back 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 years, whatever, it's all the same, the conquering other people, keeping other people down. It comes out of fear. I don't anything started like this. This was nowhere where I was even going to go, but it just got me thinking as you were talking, this is the age of jealousy and of failing upwards, well, I didn't do a very good job at this, but can you give me a promotion? Sure. Here you go.
These are odd times. These are odd times, man. Sometimes I just feel sometimes I do feel man, that the shadier you could be, the quicker you rise. And sometimes I just sit.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you cut corners, you're rewarded for it and all this. And dude, I really do sit there. I really do sit there sometimes and just feel there's got to be a comeuppance for all this, to where the good guys win eventually, or there's this realization that we've lost our way and we need to get back to some sort of morality parameters guiding what we do and how we act and who's rewarded for what. Some of this,
John, and I'm talking about everything too, and I know that's where you're going. I know that's where you're going with this. It's how many followers do you have on social media? I mean, some of the worst people in mankind have a lot of followers. What is that supposed to mean? Because you're a narcissist and you need and again, I don't mean that about, there's a lot of great people that have a lot of followers. That's not my point. But I'm saying there's also a lot of really shitty people that have a lot of followers because that's all they do. How do I get a followers? I'll just say something crazy and it'll get on there. I mean, the TikTok generation has ruined our society, man. And I mean, granted, it was happening before that, but it's just a little, I wasn't even going to bring this up. I want to talk about football, but my God, man, you're so right. And again, that has nothing to do with you deserved it. You earned your promotion. The SI thing, that's great, dude. Congratulations. But that's earning it the old fashioned way. You've always kind of been an old fashioned kind of guy. And that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to earn it through, content and being, kind to people. And yeah, you rant and you rave, but you give a platform to talk. No one does that anymore.
Somebody responded to one of my tweets when I was announcing this, and they emailed me from an anonymous Gmail account and was just guess they give out these jobs to anybody now without them proving anything or earning it. Dude, I have done content in this niche for 8 years, and like 5 or 6 of them, there was $0 connected to doing it. I did it because I did it because I loved it so much. Like, literally, it's hilarious. Somebody was like, they give this to anybody who doesn't even earn it the hard way or whatever. Dude, I've been doing this 8 years. Give me a break. And I wasn't making any money. And I'm not complaining. It's what I wanted to do with my time. I did it because I loved it. But I just thought that was really funny. I'm like, man, you have no idea that journey. Me banging on my desk at the old graveyard. Like, he must have missed those years. You know what I mean? Where were you for that time?
Yeah.
Anyways, what about the football, Rodney? I want to know what you make of Deuce, and I want to know what you make of early camp. Those are kind of the 2 things on my mind today. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. And you know, I talked about the recruiting thing a couple weeks ago, and I know I've been real busy lately, but I've been watching peripherally everything, so I'm glad to come back on here now and to get back into our routine. But yeah, man, and that's kind of what I mean, dude. I'm going back to the Deuce Knight thing, and put yourself in Deuce Knight's position. And it's like what it must be like for someone of his age and his recruiting profile and what he brings to the table, and everybody telling you how great you are, and everybody, hey, you should come here, you should come here, you should come there. And I mean, it's hard for me to really evaluate it because I don't know what's being talked about behind the scenes. But just again, and if this turns out bad for us, then we'll have something to talk about. I just kind of feel like what you said a couple days ago, John, and that was, let's wait until there's something to talk about. Granted, you still ranted about it for a half hour or whatever. I get that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, man. I mean, recruits taking visits. I mean, ho-hum. When does that ever happen? It happens all the time. So can Notre Dame keep them? I'll tell you this. This has definitely entered my mind. I'm sure you've talked about it or it's entered yours. The lack of getting any wide receivers that are in the top echelon, do you think that's causing some of his hesitation? It seems to be to me. I mean, again, from that position group, better than I've seen in a long time. And that is going to be a huge factor. How they play on the field this year is definitely going, I don't just mean as a team. I mean, obviously as a team, but I mean the wide receiver core and how the quarterbacks play is going to greatly influence, I think, what Deuce ultimately does. If we play like we're expecting them to, you know what I'm saying? I really feel like this is just kind of him flirting. I don't think he's going to flip before the season or flip 2 weeks into it per se, unless we look awful. I just think he's kind of, all right, is this really the place I want to go to? I mean, there's so much more that goes to it than just relationships these days. I mean, you'd think Marcus Freeman with the personality he has and all that, and the staff he's put together, that would mean something. And I'm sure it does. This could be no more than just a bunch of people, in his ear saying, oh, do this. And okay, I guess I'll go visit Auburn then. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's leaving. But at the same time, it also, I mean, but these things are so fluid, John. It's not just will Deuce leave. Who's the next quarterback at some other school that we may get in on? I'm just saying, if that happened, that it's not like I know it does seem like the news of Notre Dame goes negative a lot. It's like, when do the guys come to us? Well, in the last few years, that's kind of started to change. The quarterback position, we've had some fortune in the last couple of years where guys have flipped that were at other schools, came back to us. So, I mean, the way I look at it is this is a wait-and-see moment. We just got to see how they look on the field with those quarterbacks, with those wide receivers. Here's the thing. Stuckey was a great recruiter, no question. But apparently it didn't develop on the field as well. What is it? Mike Brown is that his name, from Wisconsin. Probably a much better developer, but maybe not the same recruiting level. So we have to see it on the field for us to get those recruits, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. So we'll just wait and see. I mean, I'm looking at these teams, the team rankings, and this is the other thing I wanted to actually address. One thing I noticed that you can't, and I'm not trying to compromise this for Notre Dame fans to feel better, okay? But I'm just saying, in the past, when you look at the overall team recruiting rankings, right, you would see a big drop-off from teams 1, 2, or 3 to after that, a big drop-off. Now what you're seeing, John, I counted 17 teams in the Rivals rankings. Was it Rival or 247? I'm trying to remember which one I looked at. that all have above a 90 overall team rating. Okay? 17 teams I counted at this point. So there is so much more parity now because of all this NIL stuff, and this is kind of what I thought was going to happen, that the difference between number 1 and number 10 isn't going to be the difference it was a few years ago. You know, it's going to be much more nuanced on what players you get and how they fit in. And again, going back to team camaraderie and leadership. And, you know, again, I hope that if Michigan did the things they did that were evil behind the scenes, that they get what's coming to them. I don't know how bad it was or how much that's been hyped up. But I will say what I saw them do on the field last year is what I think teams need to do now to win national championships and to make the playoffs and make a long run. It seems like Notre Dame's in that realm of trying to make that happen with team continuity and with coaching staff continuity. So, again, we're back in camp now. We're just a few weeks away from the season. And even though we're in camp, we haven't seen a game yet. So everybody still kind of like has this anxiety about it. I just think that we're living in a different age, man. It's a completely different atmosphere we're in. Things are going to settle down eventually in the next couple of years, but it's still like wildly different than what it used to be. Yeah. And it's causing everybody a lot of anxiety. And by the way, Always Irish Senior, cannot wait to hang out with the Always Irish fan. Yes. That's correct, man. I can't wait.
We need one of those meetings again. I'm Always Irish Senior. I'm with you. We're due for one of those weekends where we all just be together.
Yeah, that's coming up too, John. That's not long from now at all. I mean, we're talking 5 weeks?
There's an unspoken like bond there between everybody involved with that and our love for Notre Dame. It's just comforting because you don't have to explain it to anybody. Everybody that comes to these events understands the whole Notre Dame thing, and that's the underlying comfort that there is just knowing everybody there feels the way we all do about Notre Dame. It's really quite a family atmosphere, and everybody's invited. Open house Friday, tailgate Saturday. We're going for the North Lot again, Mikey. It's gotten busier since we did it last year. I'm not doing the stadium lot. I get claustrophobic. There's way too many people in there. You'll spend half the tailgate waiting in line to take a whiz. I don't like it. It's way too crowded. So I'm going to pay whatever I need to pay to get a bunch of spots in the North Lot. That's where we're doing it. I refuse to wait in that urinal line. I'm not doing it. Too many people, and I need my damn space. That's the deal. And then, so Rodney, let me know, man. Early thoughts about camp, and then we'll see what everybody else thinks. What do you got?
Well, I mean, I honestly, early on, I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Riley Leonard. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm liking the way the wide receivers are looking. Everything else is kind of what I expected. You know, I'm looking for big things from the defense this year. I mean, big things. I mean, I think this is an absolute top 5 unit, no question. Once we get closer to the game, we'll see. God forbid no one gets hurt before then. No one major gets hurt. I mean, that's the thing you're always worried about. I'm sure we're going to hear about an injury or two that we weren't expecting. I just hope it's not any of the key running back wise. Because right now, I mean, I don't know, man. Kind of feeling like running back might be a little thin right now. I mean, I don't know. It's like I like who we got, but it's with Payne being out for the season or whatnot, or most of the season, or I don't know, the whole season. I mean, there's not as much margin for error there, and I just right now, man, I just can't wait. I can't wait for the 31st. August 31st.
Yeah, right? we need to get answers
and seeing how all this comes together, and then we can start yelling and ranting or being happy about what we see, and then recruiting is probably going to change based on that. I mean, this is all preliminary. Let's not forget there are 120 other college football teams that you're gonna see guys flipping, moving to other teams. It's not just Notre Dame that's dealing with this right now. This is the preseason stuff. This hasn't even gotten into the season. You're gonna see programs that, like 7th, 8th, or 9th in recruiting, and they're gonna lose, 3-4 games, and that's gonna cause recruits to, it's not, you know what I mean? This is all fluid right now, which is kind of the way it should be until the season starts.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the most monumental seasons in college football. It's the first year we've got a 12-team playoff.
That's a good point.
And coming off 2 years of NIL, and this is such an important season. So anyway, I'll let you go, John. Can't wait for the tailgate. Are you coming in early this year? A lot of times you drive on the morning, but there's been a couple times you come in on Friday night.
We're going to come in on Friday. Actually, you were at the house. I'm renting the same house. You were there that one day. Yeah, we're going to do the same.
Dude. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll text. Yeah. But I would love to come a day earlier or whatever.
Yeah, we're going to hang out with you guys. It's going to be like an open house Friday night thing. Come and go, have a couple drinks. So, yeah, Friday night, same house you were at for the what was that? The USC game or the Clemson game? I forget.
I think that was the Clemson game. Yeah.
So, be there, be square. All right, I'll talk to you, Rodney. Text me. See you.
You got it, John. Take care, bud.
Later, buddy. Mikey Pohl says he'll be there Friday night. Yeah, we are definitely we're definitely having a little get together that night. So anybody in town, look me up. Hopefully the commander could be there early and crying belly. Hopefully they can have a piece of pizza and a beer on Johnny. Jerry Reinsdorf's burner. John, it's nice to have the people of Chicago actually cheering me on. They really want me to set the losing streak record. Too bad the A's are really bad. 23 losses in a row is the all-time record for Major League Baseball team. And you're going to cross this 20 mark pretty soon. And the A's are very bad too. And I'm just hoping you don't get a win. Like if we're going bad, I want historically bad. I am beyond disgusted by everything about this organization. I want 25 losses in a row. I want it on your mark forever that you are the worst owner of all time and that this is on your watch. I need it and I want it. I need it and I want it. Disgusting. Wine and cheese. Speaking of, how are we feeling about the Rubio news? Here's what I don't like. I mean, you went through that part of like not being thanks, crying. It was some random Gmail account, a bunch of numbers at gmail.com, or something like that. It was just a total random account where you couldn't figure out who it was. And they did not have nice things to say about me. So that's good. I mean, that's fine. You don't have to like everybody. Obviously, I'm not everybody's cup of tea because of my personality, but I did think that email was pretty funny. How are we feeling about the Rubio news? Definitely hurts the depth. Definitely he plays with a little bit of a different attitude and motor in the run game that I do think you are going to miss. And so it is a loss, but it's not Howard Cross, Riley Mill, right? Like you have to, it's definitely not ideal, but I'm not going to act like it's your frontline guy. You absolutely couldn't lose at the same time. So I don't know. Ray says, love your rant about Deuce and how many Indy fans, insiders are now playing it down. Similar response to Taylor. Thanks for the objectivity. I'm really, really getting sick of you're not allowed to say that it's a program changer on the plus side. And then if it doesn't go your way, poo-poo it like it's no big deal and just keep it moving. You're not allowed to do that. That is emotionally and intellectually being dishonest to protect your own feelings because it's an uncomfortable thing for you to talk about. And I'm not allowing it. You need to lean into football pain. That is the only way to work your way through it, is to lean into football pain. That's the only way. And it's funny because I'm taking crap on here for covering for the program and everything, but I'm one of the only ones saying, if everybody was saying that it was a program changer on the high end, you have an obligation what it is if you don't get it too. And I'm already not seeing that. I want to be clear. If some of these media people would just say, I don't really want to dig into this until we know for sure, that's a position it's a little weaselly, but I could kind of respect that position. But that's not what it is. They're all like, oh, whatever. If he doesn't want to come here, he doesn't want to come here. Oh, well, you find another quarterback. That nonchalance really rubs me the wrong way, and it's disingenuous, and it comes off very weak, like you're protecting your own little Notre Dame emotions. And I totally disagree with that approach. You need to lean into the pain. It's the only way to get out of it, is to lean into it and understand the situation you're in. By the way, John, we are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. You're 27 and like 87 or something, bro. Unbelievably offensive. Unbelievably offensive. Bruce.
John, what's going on, my man?
I'm sorry, man. I know you had to wait a long time, but I had some things. I haven't had this show in over, Bruce, I haven't had the morning show in over a week, and I had a lot of things I needed to get off my little Irish mind, and I feel much better about it now.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I got a lot done last week because I didn't have any morning meetings. You know?
Yeah, everybody's morning productivity at work skyrocketed because they weren't listening to some idiot yell every other day for 2 hours. You weren't listening to some idiot yell in his basement. I like that.
Right. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
A couple of points. I'm gonna try to get them as quickly as possible. So first, so I was doing a show Saturday night, and I'm about an hour and a half through the show, and I see the pop up on my phone. Always Irish is going live in like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh no, I got to get through this because I am not going head to head against Always Irish. I got to try to get this thing finished. So that was good. I enjoyed the show.
I'm sorry, hey, Bruce. I'm not trying to step on your sunshine, but that's my spot, man. Then at 8 o'clock Saturday Night Live, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, shout out Steve Splenda. Appreciate you coming through. I guess he saw the interview that you and I did together, so he popped in, and it was pretty cool having him in the chat.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah. But anyway, so I've been listening to your soliloquy this morning. So I wanted to first thing, right? This Michigan thing. I'm trying to be objective here. I'm trying. So here's the thing. Even if Michigan gets nailed, they get at the end of the day, right? My thing is this. Even if they take the trophy away, or they the powers that be, they take away the trophy or punish them or whatever, it doesn't change the fact that we all watch Michigan beat Ohio State.
Yes, it does.
Win the Big Ten.
Yes, it does.
Beat Alabama.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It does not take away anything for me.
Yes, it does.
For us watching what they did on the field.
Here is the intellectual problem with that theory, Bruce. People have told me that about like Reggie Bush getting his Heisman taken or something like that. And they brought it these comparisons. Mm-hmm. The difference is the allegations against Reggie Bush did not affect on the field. It was off the field stuff. It was nothing that affected the on-field games. Bruce, are you telling me you don't think, knowing all that we know about this now, 49-26 before Stallions turns into 40-3 after it? You're telling me that you're not sitting there going, oh man, there seems to be something really to that. That's the difference. A lot of the comparisons being made are for off the field malfeasance. This was on the field malfeasance. And even if you say to me, which is the next thing Michigan defenders say is, once the allegations came out, they stopped doing it and they still beat those teams. You cannot account for all the falsely acquired momentum and confidence and recruiting and everything good that was done when you were cheating that got you to that moment that led to you having the momentum and the confidence to go beat those teams. So I'm gonna put a roadblock to that argument too, because you falsely acquired all that confidence and momentum and good players by going 40-3 after the guy gave you all the signs.
So John, here's where I'm going to push back on that, right? Here's where I'm going to push back. I got a guy, a good friend of mine, Brian Langford, right? And last year he was analyzing college football on my show for me. And the reason he was analyzing college football is because he's a very good player down here in high school in Florida. He ended up playing 4 years in the Big Ten at Illinois as a wide receiver. Coincidentally, caught his very first college touchdown pass at Michigan. But anyway, then he went on. He was with the Colts for a year, and then he played multiple years as a receiver, kick returner in the Canadian Football League, right? And so I know this guy. He lives nearby, and we're friends. So anyway, and we talked about this a lot last year, and he made it plain to me. He says, Bruce, everybody does this. Everybody does this. This is not new, right? So yeah, they got caught, so it looks worse. But everybody does this. They still had to go out on the field and do the work. And my other thing to that is,
but how much? Wait. But how much easier is it to do the work when there's literally film of Stallions telling the defensive coordinator where to tell the Michigan guys to line up when the ball snapped, and they all run right to the play and blow it up. It's a lot easier to do the work when you know where every play's going. That's not how this game is played, man.
So I'll quote Deion Sanders on this. When they asked him about it last year, he said, look, it looks bad, it sounds bad, but at the end of the day, everybody can know everybody's plays. You still have to go out there and execute. Yeah, on defense, you got to go out there and stop it. On offense, you got to go out there and execute. So,
man.
Yeah, I get it. It sounds disingenuous, but it is what it is.
Buddy. And listen, here's the thing. Wait. Here's the other thing I want to be very, very clear about. I see a million people being like, John, you really don't think Notre Dame's tried to steal signs before? This happens all the time. It's not about the concept of trying to steal signs. It's about the means you go upon to do it. It is not I don't have a big moral obligation to trying to steal signs. There's a line to how you do it. When you hide your guy in another team's coaching outfit and give him laser glasses on the other sideline to scout, you're way across any line anyone would say is an acceptable way to try and steal other people's signs. Like, there's got to be some reasonable moral lines here. Hey, I like seeing their offensive line mash people too, but I've seen way too many clips on Twitter of Connor telling the defense exactly where to line up, and they blow up every single play, man. It really, really rubs me the wrong way.
Okay, that's cool.
Bruce, you really don't have a moral. You are such an upstanding guy. You are a military man. You're a military man. You've raised a good family. You're a good father. You're a good husband. You're one of my friends that I respect a lot, that I met through Notre Dame football. You cannot tell me you don't have a moral problem with him dressing up in the other team's uniform to spy on Michigan State from the central sideline. You can't, dude, you're way too morally righteous of a dude to tell me that doesn't hit you morally wrong, Bruce. Come on now.
So I'll say this, John.
Come on.
I will say that that's going pretty far.
He had laser glasses. He had laser glasses.
All the people that are complaining about Michigan, I mean, were they complaining all these years when we saw Bama cheating and Clemson and everybody else throughout? The cheating goes on. It is what it is. Now,
different kind of cheating.
Did they take it to a next level?
No. Different
kind. Did they take it to a next level?
All cheating is not the same. Paying guys a lot of money under the table to get talent, the way SEC teams do, is very, very different than this kind of cheating. I'm not going to let you put all cheating under the same basket. Bags of money to get players to play on your team is different than telling everybody where the play is going and blowing it up every single time. Bruce, you cannot tell me 49 and 26 before Stallions at 43 and after does not fail the smell test to you. You're not going to tell me that doesn't come off really shady to you. You're too fair of a guy to tell me that.
The only reason that I would say that I can kind of see it is because of if this wasn't Harbaugh and if he didn't have this track record of outstanding coaching and play everywhere he's been, then I might look at this differently. Like, this guy was a decent coach, a good coach, and then all of a sudden he went through the stratosphere when the cheating started, right? But if we hadn't had, and you'll see it again this year, and as much as I hate to say it, with the freaking Chargers, but if we hadn't had a history of watching Harbaugh do this thing in the same way with every program he's been to, professional and college, then maybe you get that argument. But I think that him as a coach kind of that kind of supplants that a bit. So that's my take on that. But again, my biggest point would be this in terms of the Michigan thing, then I'll move on. Unless you're going to take back all the money that they won, it's not going to matter. No one cares, right? All that money that they made from winning the championship and being in the college football playoff, that is where you got to hurt them if you really want to punish them. Not the scholarships, not being in the playoffs for a year or two. It's all that money that they made and that they made for the conference, right? Because if you did that, then the conference would be forced any conference really. If you did that to a team that got caught cheating, these conferences would be forced from a higher level to
Oh man.
to
Listen,
be more watchful.
I get it. I
of
get
what
it.
these teams are doing.
I get it, man. Like you don't like the SEC and you are pulling for Michigan to win. I get it. It's whatever. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
It's not just that.
We'll see what happens.
That played a role, a big role.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay,
all right, let's turn it to Notre Dame now. What do you think of camp? What do you think of Deuce? I would love to know.
Yeah. So the big thing is I'm listening to all this stuff about Deuce, and obviously I'm not at all not happy with it. But my first thing is we got to be relatively honest with ourselves here. The young man, I think, is doing his due diligence, right? And we are obviously happy that he seems to be committed to Notre Dame, but he's still a little ways out. He's going to do his due diligence. And what was it, Auburn he was allegedly talking to, right?
Yeah.
Right. So first of all, I wouldn't worry about Auburn because one, they're not a threat in the SEC. Two, they've never had elite receivers. We can go back to Cam Newton and before that. Like Auburn never has receivers. I wouldn't even worry about that. Now, does that mean if you're Notre Dame, you don't continue to actively recruit this young man? No. And nowadays, you have to do that. You have to continue to recruit, even when you think you've got him in the bag. So you got to continue to do that, maintain that relationship. But what I would say about it is, even though it's scary, at this point, we can only be patient and just continue to recruit the young man. And if need be, you negative recruit. I don't know if that's something that Notre Dame gets into. I don't know what's their kind of recruiting focus. But realistically, everyone does it to you. So as long as you're not like lying and making up stuff, you can negatively recruit as well. Why can't you? Right? So I would keep those two things in back of mind when it comes to Deuce. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just a bad situation to be in, Bruce. It's just a bad situation. I don't know. And I just don't understand when they're like, how do you respond to this? You let them know we're going to recruit other guys. Like, I don't know. You have no leverage. You wanted them. It's trending away from you. I don't know what the plan B is. There's a long time to go. December's a long ways away. Whatever, man. But it's very, very frustrating. I'm very, very frustrated how big everybody built this up and now acted like it's no big deal if it goes away. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, But also, obviously, we take it more personally because we are Notre Dame, right? But at the same time, we are not the only school that this is happening to, right? We see guys committed to Alabama that still go talk to other schools, Ohio State, whoever it is, right? It's just, unfortunately, it's part of the game now. It's part of the fabric of modern college football. And maybe it always was, but even more so now because of all the attention that people are getting and all the social media and everything. It's just kind of how it goes. So I'm just like, got to be patient and sit back, continue to recruit the kid and hope that he's going to be true to his word. And at the end of the day, he has to do what he believes is best for him. So there's that. And that's how I see it. Last thing, I was reading Pete Sampson's stuff from first 15 period practice on last week. And I saw he said that Ben Morrison was back. What are you hearing about Ben Morrison and his health?
So far,
because obviously we're going to
cross my fingers. So far, so good. People were saying Morrison was out there rolling around after a loose ball and everything. So far, so good with Leonard 100%. Apparently, so far, so good on Morrison and Evans. So I feel good.
Yeah, and I'm about to get out of here. I don't want to hold you up, but I got to say I am loving. I don't know how much impact Freeman has had on this, but I can't remember ever seeing a Notre Dame secondary that has looked this good. I can't. I love the fact that we got a chance of, not getting torched by every good receiving core that we play against this year. This is fantastic. You got two really good corners. You got Gray and Morrison, and then Xavier Watts at safety. You've got solid linebacker play, and of course, I still hope that somebody can emerge as a game-wrecking pass rusher on the front. But overall, this defense looks really good, and if you can get, a little more than halfway competent offensive play, then maybe we got something going here.
Yeah, it should be really interesting, Bruce. That's the problem. Thanks for the call today. Is you're struggling to pair up the frustrations with the recruiting versus the excitement of what this year could be on the field. And that has me and a lot of Notre Dame fans in their own minds, I think, that trying to pair those things with the frustration of kind of where the recruiting's at, but the excitement of how good this team could be. It's going to be really interesting to see. And we're going to get a lot of answers week one. Bruce, thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate you.
Definitely. Thanks, Jeff.
Have a good one. Oh boy. Interesting. I understand. I've been looking at my texts. Looks like Darren Pritchett came back at me on Twitter. I'm getting a bunch of texts. Looks like we have a little Twitter beef. I got something for him. I knew he was going to come back at me. I got something back for him. As soon as we're done with the show, I'm going to light it up. I love this kind of stuff. I live for it. These traditional medium guys don't like it. Everything's changing. Everything's changing. 419, you're on the line. What's going on?
Hey there. Pete Sampson had an article in July, and it had it was titled, "Why is Notre Dame losing top 100 recruits?" And it had the decommitments from all the top schools the last 4 cycles. And I think Notre Dame was at 4. It had LSU at 8, Bama 7, Florida State 7, and a bunch that had more than us. And it basically, his summary was like, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. And kind of the difference in those teams and misses are more like a drop in the bucket, where with Notre Dame it feels like we're like drinking from a fire hose. And like they all get enough elite players where it's not felt as much, where, you know, they've got more home runs. We're sitting here hitting singles and doubles, trying to play catch up. And then the ceiling feels a lot lower because we're so used to it. But like with Deuce Knight, he was supposed to be the home run that felt different. And I think, you know, it's going to feel all the more devastating if he does leave.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be, it's going to be bad, but it's going to like resonate a lot worse because of all of that, I think.
Yeah. I got to tell you, number one is good job on all the work you've been doing, all the videos and everything. Spot on. Good job. I just feel like I'll talk about me personally. Deuce is different. He's the kind of player Notre Dame doesn't get, and a kind of athlete Notre Dame does not get at the most important individual position in all of sports. He was truly could have been a program changer in a way I'm not even sure Carr will be, even if he's great. My dad chimes in. I thought it was a big deal to get Carr. What's going on with him? Is he another great student athlete, ND fit, or a great QB? We don't know yet. And I think my dad might be right. We're sleeping on Carr. Maybe I'm sleeping on Carr because I got so excited about Deuce's physical upside that's so unique. That's why it hurts for me. Yeah. That's why it hurts for me, is because you look at Deuce and being at the most important position in sport. He did offer something we have not had at that spot in a long time. And that is the part that's really, really hit me hard. That's really hit me hard. I wanted to see that guy. At Notre Dame change heads to turn. I really, really did. And but maybe I'm doing CJ Carr dirty, and I'm an idiot for not valuing him more. Maybe I'm open to that, and I want to be wrong about that. So I want to be wrong about it. Maybe I'm crapping on Carr for no reason, and he's getting slept on here. And I want to be open to that. Good call by Always Irish Senior.
Yeah, and it feels like, you know, we have guys that can play anywhere. We get guys that can be a dude anywhere. You know, like most recently Jeremiah Love, and it feels like Deuce Knight is one of those guys that could play anywhere and be a dude anywhere. Yeah, and we don't always get those kind of players.
Yeah, and for me, he's just such a unique athlete, Mark. He's such a unique athlete, and at that position, and I was just salivating over the idea of seeing what Denbrock could do with that guy in South Bend, and it just changes everything that's possible for the program. When you have a quarterback with that kind of skill set, it changes everything that's possible for you. And it's going to be hard if it goes the other way, because I've been having this in my head a really, really long time, wanting to have like a high-end Deuce Carr starting quarterback battle where whoever wins it, you're getting way, way, way above average elite play. Like that was the dream scenario, is ending up with that quarterback competition. And that's what I wanted. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, he's just different. And like big picture, I think hopefully an elite coaching staff can like neutralize the talent disparity against those handful of teams that are recruiting at a different level. And, they're, highest paid OC. I think Golden is right there, one of the highest paid DCs. So that's where they got to earn their paycheck, I guess, because it's not coming from recruiting.
Yeah. So I don't know, Mark, and I don't know where you go from there. To the other part of this is, where do you go from there? Like if you put all your eggs in the Deuce basket and we were all counting on that, and then you don't get them, where do you go from there? Because you can't, Mark, how this fan base is. Imagine the reaction if you go from Deuce Knight to some RKG Drew Pine dude who just loves Notre Dame and I want to go to Notre Dame. Like the reaction's going to be so awful, and I'm going to feel bad for that player. It's going to be really, really bad. It's going to be really, really bad.
Yeah, and that's what I wonder, like, with Gino, he was Deuce's guy, and now, like, I'm wondering, like, job security-wise, especially depending upon this upcoming season, what has he done? If he can't bring in Deuce, like, does no grub save him? Is he doing a good enough job? I don't know. I just feel like he was hanging his hat on being the Deuce Knight guy.
Yeah, this is just such a weird place to be. And it's just such a Notre Dame scenario. That's the other thing, Mark. This whole thing feels so Notre Dame-y. It makes you sick to your stomach how Notre Dame-y this exact scenario is. It's actually it's unbelievably Notre Dame-y to be in this position. You're there with this quarterback that changes things, and he's not. It is the most Notre Dame thing. And in that regard, I don't think we should be surprised. You know what I mean? Like heartbroken, frustrated, sure, but surprised? This is the most Notre Dame outcome of all Notre Dame outcomes, Mark.
Yeah, it's kind of like when he announced his commitment. It's like one of those couples, that's not going to work out. You're like, oh, this is going to end bad. Yeah. It's like we could kind of all foresee this happening. We just kind of hope for the best. And then to switch gears on the Michigan stuff, like reading about that with the notice of allegations, they got 7 coaches complicit, and I would like the NCAA to kind of do a slow release of this information. Like, I want to see these texts, and I think a slow trickle of evidence will kind of build where everyone will kind of warm up to the gravity of the situation, the seriousness. And, they took 2012 from us for tutors. And if we were in the SEC, it would have been no harm, no foul. But as it is, like, what's worse? A couple of players playing that should have been ineligible or lining up and knowing what the other team's about to run.
I know. It's so frustrating. And the other thing, here's the other problem with it, Mark. I feel like such a whiny little baby, because I really do feel this way about the morality and just how wrong and blatant it is. But also, we don't beat anybody, and we're not in the playoff, and our offensive line isn't running it down Penn State with 80 running plays in a row, and we're not winning playoff games. So then it comes off like me crying like a little baby because we don't win anything. But I genuinely do feel the moral outrage of what they did and the evidence. But I have no leverage because we don't win anything. So it comes off like spilled milk no matter what. And I don't appreciate being put in that position. I don't appreciate being put in that position. I don't like being put in that position, man. It really rubs me the wrong way. I don't appreciate it at all.
I'm just wondering, like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Incredibles where that kid's like super fast and he's running the race and they're telling him, slow down. Completely obvious. I'm wondering if they were doing that because I don't know if you remember when Greg Schiano said there's funny stuff going on out there and it's not right. But I don't know how obvious it was all of the time. But
Yeah.
you know, I feel like they stained the integrity of the sport and their cheating had a, you know, immediate impact on every game. I don't think more can survive this. I think, you know, they cheated, they lied about it, destroyed evidence, deleted text, refused to cooperate. They took the hard drives, and now they got this Netflix documentary, which is just going to be a spin zone. And I think NCAA should release their own documentary the next day.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of bullshit this is going to be.
Yeah, I know. Why did they get that kind of spin and all that? Like they're going to spin it all in that way. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
They're going to available to the FBI or the NCAA, but Netflix. And you know, 2013 Louisville had their season and championship vacated for having escorts help with recruiting. So I'm holding out hope that.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
They can have their banner up in their stadium, but nobody else is going to recognize this.
Yeah.
Painted title.
Whatever. And you know what else, too? If you're going to do this and there at least needs to be a asterisk wherever that title is listed. I want it on the trophy. I want it on Wikipedia. I want it online. There needs to be an asterisk that if they keep the title, at least an asterisk that says this is in doubt with a cheating scandal. And I want a permanent mark on that forever. But I know I'm just the guy crying and complaining because my team never wins anything. I know that. So whatever.
Yeah, we are.
You know,
these Michigan crybabies would be doing the same thing as Ohio State or Notre Dame or anybody else. That's how they are. They're intolerable. And like I said, Dave Portnoy out on his boat would be up in arms if it was Ohio State. But since it's them, it's everybody does it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He would be doing that. So I don't know, man. It's kind of wild. Any thoughts on camp? What do you see so far?
I don't give a shit about camp. You know, I think before Weiss went 3-9 and before Kelly went 4-8, there's probably good things coming out of camp. So
yeah, and it's a lot of it's believe it when I see it. A lot of it's believe it when I see it. People are saying you're a little more animated today. What happened? You drink a bunch of coffee or some rocket fuel? What's the deal?
A couple coffees. I don't know. Close the football season.
Yeah, get that energy up.
Saturday night. Shout out to Pat Saturday night.
Yeah.
Hit all dingers.
There you go. Man, I'm telling you. So yeah, we talking about practice. I don't care about camp. We talking about practice. Oh, Mark, I love you. I love you.
Luke keeps talking about camp looks like shit, and the guys are moping around. I don't know.
No, I don't. No. He's just saying. He's saying anything to get us all worked up and anything to make my blood pressure riled. That's what he's doing. Mark, I love you, and I may have a concept I might need to ask for your help for soon. We'll be in touch, brother. Thank you.
All right, later. Bye.
Have a good one. Tom, it's been a while. 773, you're talking to me. What's going on, Tom? Good to hear from you, buddy.
Hey, John, I want to talk to you off the ledge about Deuce. I know it's disappointing.
Please do. No, please, Tom, I need it. Talk me through this work me through this, man. Please. I need this in my life. Go for it.
As soon as he started sniffing around deeper into Mississippi and Auburn, I knew he was gone. They don't want him to leave the South. So all that BS, right? Here, look, it's the reality that we are in right now. This is going to continue to happen, especially for quarterbacks, big-time defensive linemen and linebackers and receivers. it's going to go to the highest bidder until they put a governor on the portal and the NIL money. It's going to continue to happen. So I guess, you get a kid like CJ Carr, who they have already said, and I've heard reports that he's got NFL arm talent right now. So, I understand there's he's got to develop, and there's but I haven't heard anybody say that about a Notre Dame quarterback ever in my life, including Montana, Tom Clements, all the great quarterbacks of the 70s. It goes. Maybe they said it about Terry Henry in the 60s. I was too little then, but you know what I'm saying? So, and that's coming from a smattering of the coaches on Notre Dame's team. They know what they've got, and Denbrock is kind of keeping that under wraps. I know they're trying to build them up. So can they coach them up? I believe they can. And the other part of it is, look, with these types of kids that are coming from a lot of the backgrounds that they're coming from, which could be lower middle class or poor people, and you've got a mother and a father that are involved, they're going to go after the biggest money. So I'm sorry, Notre Dame still has to be Notre Dame because it is a unique place. We know that. So to get a kid down there and get him in the program and get him in school, you got to find out, all right, hey, do you want to chase broads and party and get paid $500,000 or $1 million a year? Well, Notre Dame's not your place. And that's the reality we're living in. But there still are. Look at the talent just in the Notre Dame backfield right now. Those kids are character kids, and they're twitchy, fast, great athletes. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we can get another Deuce Knight.
Yeah, it's just, Tom, it just feels so Notre Dame-y, doesn't it? To be that close and then end up that far away. Like, it's the most Notre Dame-y scenario ever. And I do admit, I had dreams of the future of this program, him running around under a Denbrock offense and having a quarterback that could do it all with his legs and arm and everything. Tom, I was really, really getting down the road of envisioning that being the future. And maybe I'm really selling Minchie and Carr short, and I was so excited about the shiny new thing that I've overlooked what they could be, and maybe that's my fault, and I'll be proven wrong. And I'm open to that, and I'm hoping for that,
Well, we have to, and that's the other part of the reality. Reasons that we talked about are actually still the reasons why a lot of us love Notre Dame, because they do things a little bit differently. Now, I saw somebody say something on the thread this morning, Marcus Freeman, to start poaching some of the Stanford talent. And you know what? That makes a lot of sense to me. Because some of the talent that Stanford could get, and those kids are going to go to, you know what I'm saying? That's a weak kind of fix, but they're going to have to keep evolving. These coaches they're in a different world right now. They're swimming in new waters. Maybe Notre Dame, maybe Bavacqua can go to the board of directors at Notre Dame and talk to the administration. Maybe he loosens the purse strings up so that they don't lose another Deuce Knight.
Yeah.
But I still think,
man, I was told that the money,
really,
I don't know if the rumors are true about all the money from Auburn. The numbers I've been getting messaged to me are outrageous. But generally speaking,
I agree. I don't believe it's all about the money. I still think it's the cultural thing.
Yeah.
Now think about it. You're an 18-year-old kid from his background, and they're going to put you on the campus of the University of Notre Dame or Auburn, where they're throwing broads through the window at you, and you're 18 and full of testosterone and all the other, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And come on, that's why Notre Dame is still going to have to solidify the best talent they can with that's the best fit for Notre Dame. Otherwise, if you can't handle that, then you got to go pick another horse. You got to go cheer for another team. That's, and I hate to say that, but I think eventually we're going to see within the next 3 or 4 years, depending on the expansion of the playoffs, if they go to a 16-team playoff, they've already upped the scholarships, right? So they went from 85 scholarships to 105 scholarships.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a governor that comes in, they put a governor on the NIL and the portal, and that will quiet some things down. And then you're going to be, because at the end of the day, you got all the great things with Notre Dame and some of the bad things, and the pros still outweigh the cons all day long. And a lot of these kids know it. So I think we're in a good spot. I really do. I can't wait to see what happens with CJ, and we know what Angeli can do, and he's not gonna win national championships there.
Yeah.
But we gotta. I'll tell you what, if Riley Leonard stays healthy and he can really perform, that could put Notre Dame back into the stratosphere we need to be.
Yeah.
And so just keep your chin up. There's
I
nothing we can do about it.
I know. I totally admit I was completely obsessed with playing it out in my mind, what he would look in a Notre Dame offense and what that would change. And the future of the program was me envisioning that. Driving around town, it would be in my head. When I lay down at night, it's in my head. And I'm telling you guys, I'm just struggling to let it go a little bit. I am, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm being open about it. I am. Tom, I'm just glad to hear from you, and I'm glad you're healthy. And people have already asked, multiple people, Tom, have asked, are you going to try and make it to the tailgate this year? I hope you can.
Which one? Is that the Miami Ohio
Yeah,
game?
my Dr. John, everybody's coming. They want to know if you're going to try and be able to make it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest right now with work, and I haven't had any time to make any plans. But I'll shoot for it. So I will definitely shoot.
I appreciate that. I'm just glad to hear from you, buddy. Glad you're healthy. Have a good one. I think I lost him. 386 and then 419 coming up. 386. What's going on, man? Been a while.
John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm okay. I'm just there's a lot going on, man. You got all the camp stuff, and again, my big thing is I'm struggling with the frustration in my mind about the recruiting and the upside of what I think this year's team could be on the field. I'm struggling to balance both those things. What do you think?
I think the same thing. We're like super distracted with all this recruiting stuff. If Deuce was still super solid, I don't think we'd be talking about any of this. Of course, the wide receiver situation is not the best, but it's almost like we can't even focus on camp right now. So hopefully that's not filtering in through the staff and through the players. I doubt that it is, but you've got to maybe think that, right? Like hopefully it's not affecting anything in that manner.
Yeah, it's just I'm just so frustrated, man. Am I overdoing it? Am I making this too big of a deal? Tell me.
So I don't think so. Here's the thing, John. When Freeman came in, we were all super ecstatic, young coach, savvy coach, going to be this ultimate recruiter. Were our expectations a little bit too high? I think time will tell on that. But looking back on it, what did we expect? Of course, he's this young, charismatic coach coming up in the ranks, head coach of Notre Dame. But at the same time, what did we expect too much off the rip? What are your honest thoughts there? Because I think that we might have, looking back on it this past 24 months.
That is certainly possible. But there is no doubt to me To me, the theory was very, very direct and simple. What he lacked in on-field coaching experience to bring to the table, he was supposed to make up with way, way above average elite recruiting that we haven't seen in Notre Dame, weren't getting in the Kelly era. And the idea was, while he's getting better with the on-the-field stuff, at least we would be filling up with a different kind of talent that would help speed up the on-the-field learning curve. That was the concept. And now you're in a really rough spot because you're not getting that level of the recruiting. And also on the field, you're still trying to get him to get through that learning curve, and you got to win this A&M game or it's all going to kind of pile down on you. So like you just have some worries here with the plan. Am I wrong? Wasn't that the plan? That's what I thought it was.
We've got some worries, right?
Like, but was that how you saw it with him coming in? That's kind of how I saw it. Like, that was clearly the dynamic to me that we were working in. And I was so frustrated with the Kelly era recruiting, knowing we had evidence year after year it was not good enough to get over the hump. I really thought this was something I was willing to deal with, but Freeman has to deliver his part. And you had to deliver better recruiting classes than we're used to, way better, not even close to Kelly, for this all to be going according to plan. And now you're in a position where if that recruiting's unstable, you are really backed into a corner where you absolutely must beat A&M without fail.
With everything that's happened the past 2 to 3 weeks, you are absolutely backed into a corner, must win at A&M. I totally disagree with Pat in terms of we need to go make a statement. For me, I've watched Notre Dame I'm 31, since I was born, right? This game does not need to be a statement victory. This game needs to be get out of A&M 1-0. That is absolutely the only thing that we need to worry about doing is beat them by at least 1 point. If you beat them by 10, 14 more, fantastic. But the way that we are backed into a corner right now, like you've been saying, this is an absolute must win, whether it's by 1 point or 15. If it's by 1 point, great. If we happen to lose, which I don't think that we will, but that's absolute worst case scenario. You've got recruiting troubles. You can't get the big elite guys. Now I can't even go down that thought track, but that's where we're at. You have to win this game by 1 point at least. Just get the W and kind of right the ship heading into the season. We cannot afford anything crazy to happen here.
Dude, I don't know. Man. I'm feeling the pressure.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the pressure too.
Yeah.
You have to think that it is trickling down to Freeman. Like even you said it after his presser, seemed like he had a little bit of an attitude to him, which he doesn't typically have.
Dude,
right?
Am I the only one? Listen, am I the only one who picked that up? His first press conference after the first practice of camp, he felt on edge to me. I feel like I could see in his face that he was not quite himself. He didn't even answer questions clearly and struggled to come up with a couple of answers because I think his mind was a little bit elsewhere. And it times up with him dealing with all this Deuce stuff behind the scenes. I just felt like the guy was feeling it.
100%. And I feel like it's totally fair. But at the same time, I feel like we need to kind of reel that back in a little bit. I think Deuce is 100% an elite athlete that Notre Dame typically does not get, right? I'm 100% in agreement with that. I am a huge Deuce advocate, huge fan of him. If we can still land him, I think it's program changing. But we can't forget what we have here. We've got Minchie, we've got Carr, we've got Grubbs coming in. I still feel like that's super, super solid. And like another comment, like in your chat has said, don't stop going that he maybe isn't 100% all in. Why can we not go nab somebody else that's maybe committed elsewhere or who hasn't committed yet? Don't give up on what's out there. If the players are going to give you this type of like uncertainty, go out there and keep hitting it hard to where let's not leave it up to chance. If Deuce happens to go elsewhere, let's keep reloading. Like Freeman was this like powerful recruiter. Don't show any signs of weakness. Keep the pedal down and go after whoever we want. right? We're
Yeah.
still Notre Dame. Don't let this bring this whole thing down on us where it's like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I still think we're in a better position, but I think the proof is in the games. This season is critical to his tenure. It seems like each day it's getting more critical to his tenure.
Yeah, and you know what else too? Here's the other thing, and I need to be able to process this more healthily as well. We have these seasons in our mind where we're in the summer and there's no actual on the field football. So all you worry about is the recruiting. Then our minds switch once camp starts. Our minds switch into on the field kind of exclusively, and the recruiting goes into the shadows, into the backdrop. We need to realize, and I need to realize, what happens in this season could impact the 25 class too. What happens if you get in there and the offense looks way better with Denbrock and with the quarterback that can run and pass and all this stuff? And like what if the offense looks really, really a lot better and things could, Tony, I am not taking notes. I'm taking shots on Twitter at somebody in the radio South Bend market trying to roast me. And I felt the urgency to tweet back at him and roast him. So I encourage you guys on Twitter to go look at my latest tweet, because I'm sick of playing nice with these people running their mouths. And why do I always have to take the high road? So I roasted him. So go on Twitter and see what I just did. Anyways, I need to understand that what happens in the season could change this recruiting class. It's not over till December. So you could run out there with an exciting offense and maybe change some minds or whatever. I need to realize it's not over.
It's not over by a long shot. And I think that's where Freeman's feeling it a little bit more. He knows not only do we need to win on the field and get to the playoff this year, we've got to do this for recruiting. We've got to show a different product on the field. Yes, we can go get the defensive guys, and the defense has been the backbone for us. But, dude, he's feeling it. If he wants these elite receivers and elite QBs, it's not all just, all right, I'm walking in as this young guy who can relate to you, and I get along with your parents, and 4 for 40. Dude, these kids want to see results. These kids want to see, okay, can you get me to that next level?
Yeah.
And I think that they're having doubts. The only way that they change that
Dude,
is the product on the field.
Here's what's not helping. What's not helping here? Thank you, Tony. I'm sick of being nice to these people in the media that take shots at me. And I always take the high road and try and be respectful. And I just always kind of taken the high road publicly, you guys. I'm about done doing that. So Darren came at me and I just torched him so he can enjoy that. Anyways, it's hard for us to have this discussion while people are putting in the chat, we're about to lose more recruits. Did something drop on a message board saying that, or are people just making me mad? What happened here? Somebody let me know. So I don't know, man. Whatever. So yeah, you're right. Go beat A&M and we'll all feel a lot better. That's first thing you got to do. It's a must have. Go beat A&M and then we'll go from there.
That's it, man. That's it.
Oh, hey,
I got to hop for a Zoom call. But
really good talking to you. And hopefully you're not burying in the rain out there in that little situation in Florida. Hope you're doing okay, buddy.
Just a little rainstorm. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
There you go. Have a good one. Take care. Dude, I want to be very, very clear, Bob. I did not start this. I put a very innocent tweet out yesterday, and Darren came at me about it and was very sarcastic. I did not start it. I put something very innocent out about me and Pat's debate. He got lippy and sarcastic about it. I responded to him this morning. He said, I'm just a guy tweeting from my basement. So I just absolutely roasted him. So that's the way this goes. And I'm about that life. I'm done playing nice with these people. I'm getting pissed off. Sick of being the nice guy who just lets it go. I'm not doing it anymore. 419, you're on the line. What's going on?
What's going on, Big J?
Hey, I don't know where I'm at, man. I'm feeling a little anxiety. I am. And I got to tell everybody, I'm stuck in between feeling really excited about the 24 year on the field and very frustrated about recruiting off the field. And where does that leave us? That's kind of where my mind and heart is at and where I'm kind of struggling at.
I mean, we could be all right, Jay, man. You know, I know the Deuce situation is tough. It is tough, but I don't think the fight is over. You know, I don't think the fight is over. And I don't think Auburn is a better program right now than we are. So even if Deuce does make that decision, I mean, he might hamper his career doing that. You know, but I think it's all about the money. And another thing that we have to factor in is a lot of these kids don't want to go to school anymore. They don't, if they don't have to go to class, they're not going to go.
Yep.
So you get money and we're not putting pressure on you to go to school, because they will mess around and force Deuce into a starting role as a freshman. Just to make him happy.
But dude, okay, wait, one is you got a good radio voice. I dig it. I like this radio, but very clear line, good radio voice. I dig it, man. But here's the other thing. You know, like Freeman and their thing is like choose hard, you know, with the Notre Dame path. That's kind of their motto, is choose hard and all this stuff. Here's the issue. A guy like Deuce probably isn't planning on being somewhere 4 years and collecting a degree. So I don't know how much the school part's going to appeal to you. If you're like, I'm going 3 and I'm going pro or whatever, then why would you choose to do all that other schoolwork and all the other things that come with that if you don't plan on being around that long anyways? Like, I think about this stuff sometimes.
You know, I feel you. That's valid. But like I said, it can hamper his growth as a quarterback. I mean, we have a great quarterbacks coach. We have a great offensive coordinator. I mean, hey, if you want to choose the bag over being developed, that's on you. It means it's going to stunt your growth as a quarterback. But I hope it doesn't. I hope he turns out to be a great player wherever he goes. But I just think Notre Dame is the better choice than Auburn from where we are at as a program right now. And but I'm gonna leave Deuce alone. I'm not even worried about Deuce. I love our quarterback room. I love our quarterback's coach. I love our offensive coordinator. We're gonna be fine, even though it's gonna hurt. You know, I would love to have Deuce, you know, with the golden helmet, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say, man, this Michigan stuff is ridiculous.
Dude, but do you see why I feel backed into a corner where I feel like a crybaby if I'm complaining about it? And but at the same time, like, because we don't win anything, so who am I to like cry about? It sounds like spilled milk, but I also am genuinely morally outraged by the extent of which they did this. It's unbelievable. Like, it's egregious. It's not like, oh, has Notre Dame ever tried to steal signs? It's not about stealing it. It's how you went about doing it. I can't get people to understand that.
Yeah, I'm like, you got a guy dressed up on the damn sideline like he's in a damn movie. On all these sidelines, like, come on, this is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, do you remember that TV show Cheaters, where they would like go around town and follow people? Like, he had the cheaters sunglasses recording everybody's move. Yeah. Like, bro, that is like wherever you think the line of like gamesmanship is with this stuff, that's 90 steps past it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I really just wanted to touch on that for a quick sec, but that Michigan stuff is very ridiculous. I know everybody cheats, but like you said, the way they went about it, and then now we got visuals all over the place in a damn costume looking crazy as hell. And I'm like, come on, man. No repercussions for this. This is ridiculous, bro. Come on. I'm all down for signs still in the gaining advantage, but at least the old school way. You know, study teams tape and stuff like that. You got a whole plant on somebody else's sideline, buying tickets all over the damn. Come on, this is just ridiculous. But I do give Michigan their props, because they did, even after he left, they did pummel the teams they played. So I do give them props for that. But
yeah, dude, you know what the highlight for me was? You know, I'm going to give Michigan credit here. When they ran the ball like 30 times in a row against Penn State, and Penn State, and they couldn't stop it, and everybody knew they were doing it, bro. You know what I was thinking? O-line U, this is what I want our guys to do. I'm like, this is what O-line U looks like when you're running it down Penn State's throat, and they know it's coming, and they can't stop it for a lick. That's That is what it's called when you
Yeah.
want to be O-line. I was very, very jealous of that. That is the action I'm talking about. They knew you were running it. You knew you were running it, and they couldn't do a damn hoot and holler about it. That's what I want, baby. Woo!
You better believe it.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that because they made Penn State where it felt like it felt like to me play my nephew in Madden and I could just run it on them like 30 times in a row and they couldn't do nothing. I said, Penn State, this is horrible. I can't believe you.
Yeah, they couldn't stop it at all, man. They couldn't stop it at all. I don't know. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And the other thing that's funny to me is, okay, Harbaugh's leaving and all this. He wants to do the Pete Carroll and get out of town. And then we were all supposed to think Sherrone Moore didn't know anything about this. Like, how stupid do you think I am that I was just supposed to think that Sherrone Moore had no idea about any of this and he's the innocent one that's going to take over? Bro, like, I'm dumb, but not that dumb. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Exactly.
It was
I don't have
offensive.
a master's degree, but come on, man.
It was offensive, man.
We're not dumb.
Yeah, like we got
We're not
gaslit.
dumb, man.
We just got gaslit where they were just like, they were telling you not to believe your own eyes. All those clips came up of Stallions telling the defensive coordinator what to do, and then they stopped the play. And then I was told that's nothing. Don't believe what you see. How dumb do you think I am?
Put your hands over your eyes, John, man. They don't want you to see that.
I'm telling you, I know what I'm seeing. I know what I'm seeing, dude. So
But-
I don't know.
I just want to get off your line. I want to close out with how I feel about our team, though. I love our team. Yes, we've taken some losses in recruiting, but I love the team. I love the way Marcus is building it. He's building it to the best of his ability, So I give him credit for that. And he works hard. He works day in, day out.
Yeah.
As far as recruiting and everything. I really love even with Mike Brown's trying.
Bro, I don't know where you went. I don't know where he went. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, man. I liked your call. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Whoo, baby. Anyways, sorry, I was a little distracted. I'm monitoring my own drama on Twitter. I got to make sure I got to be on top of what I need to do next. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be distracted. So I don't know, you guys. This is really interesting. People are saying we're going to lose other recruits or whatever. It's going to start getting rough. And again, here's the thing, you guys. And I'm more sure about this now than ever. All you can do is go win your games. If this is Pat, you want to know what I said, Pat? I'll let you know what I said. He responded. It's always at AlwaysIrishINC. $2 a holler. I'll read you guys the tweets so you can see it here. Yep, people are saying we're losing these recruits. All right, I posted yesterday. Unbelievable. Now he's trying to block me so I can't see or respond. What are we doing here? I posted the thing of me and Pat, and I asked, is just winning enough, or do Notre Dame fans expect more than that? He responded with, my brain hurts even just by reading this. Very condescending. 12 hours later, first thing this morning, he's putting out stuff on his show about how much is Notre Dame going to win by? Is it this much, or is it that much, or is it this much? Coming off what I was talking about. Now he's using the same concept on his show about how the Notre Dame's margin and how much they're going to win by. 12 hours later, he spun that into his radio show content. He was just making fun of me for debating it. Now he's spinning it to his own advantage 12 hours later. So then I responded with, when he put that Twitter question out, I put, my brain hurts by even reading this question in air quotes to mock him, making fun of me about it. Then he responded with, you repeating my quote is very exactly the lack of creativity I'd expect from somebody reporting from their mom's basement. I responded to that. Check this out. You ripped on my content concept that originated from my own basement, then spun it into your own show 12 hours later. That's the real lack of creativity and a surefire way to never graduate behind the tiny South Bend radio market to anything bigger. Legacy traditional media is becoming extinct. Adapt. Pretty sure I won this one. Sick of being the nice guy. I've taken shots over and over again by these other shows, taking side swipes at me on their little podcast, on their Twitter, on their YouTube show or whatever, these little shots. I'm done doing that. So I'm going to start going at these people if that's how they want to do it. Darren's mad because nobody listens to the radio. People would rather call my show than an actual radio station. Give me a break. Traditional, old school media is dying. It just is. So you better get with the program. Better get with the program. All right, you guys. I love this show so much. I love it so much. Man, people are saying we're losing more recruits. I'm going to have to go see what this is. Traditional modern media, it's going bye-bye. People need to adapt. They need to get with the program, man. You need to get with the program. Anyways, I'm just saying, yeah, Troll City, and I'm a good one, so I ain't afraid of it. Domer Wop on the way out. $10 holler. Congratulations on your new SI gig. Thank you. Give those legacy media curmudgeons a hard time. Hey, I didn't start this one, but I'm happy to finish it. All right. Thanks for the calls. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody today. Whatever, man. I really appreciate all this. The energy. I am getting fired up. I'm getting kind of sick of some of these people that have been around for a long time. They don't like anybody else new moving in and getting any market share, anything at all. And you could feel that. They feel threatened. This traditional legacy media market, people, the legacy stuff, the radio, the traditional writing, they do not like it when new content comes in and starts stealing views. So it is what it is, everybody. Whatever, man. I just try to do my own thing. But if people are taking shots at me, then I'm happy to go back at them. That's the way this business goes. You got to hold your own. Thank you for donating. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing all of that. Have a good one, everybody.